Waiting for Peter de Jersey, who's doing some amazing acting at the moment. Okay, let's give that. Hey everyone, what I'm gonna do while I try and find Peter is just see if there's a question that I can try to answer. So do post some. Hang on, I think these requests are coming up. Thank you for your encouragement. Someone's very kind of saying it's part of the experience and I'm doing well. I appreciate that. I also appreciate Alistair Coomer just coming on here and laughing openly at me, who's our amazing casting director. Peter.
Hello.
So sorry. Okay, let's try that again. Pete, have you been watching or have you been putting your kids to bed?
I've been putting my kids to bed, so unfortunately I have been watching.
You've been amazing.
What I've been doing is I tuned in to see a few of the comments that my other playmates have been making, and I've been enjoying it and journeying back. But the fact is that the child that I've been trying to get to settle, and he's very good, he was born, as you recall, in our first week of rehearsal. He is now 6. No. So that gives us all a bit of a time frame for all of this. That does give us
a time frame. Yes, yeah. Peter, selfishly, I had totally forgotten that. I think mainly because I was worrying about sort of chairs and paint and...
Chairs and paint and everything. Well, you gave me a call and I was in the park with my family and my first son, and we knew that the second one was coming along. And I said to you, Jess, I'll just have a word with my wife and see if that's all right. Being that we'll start rehearsals, when the baby is due. And she said, absolutely, that's going to be fine. And so I called you back. And while I was swinging my other child, we sort of, we got it all going, which is great.
Peter, you were in the first play I ever directed at the Royal Shakespeare Company that I was reminiscing about the other day with my friend Bennett Brandreth, who came in to do that amazing work on rhetoric.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Erin Murphy just texted me to say, you're sideways on Instagram Live. Yes, Erin. Thank you, I know.
Yeah. Maybe you're the only one going in the right direction.
But one neighbour, her 8-year-old son, Finn, has just sent me a picture where he's trying to be sideways to show me what I look like. So I think, everyone's pretty clear about that. But
yes.
So Pete, I was just, it was so wonderful to work with you on one of the first classical plays I directed, and I was so
believe
pleased.
What you will. Yeah.
When you said we do this, and it was a wonderful experience, and I think it is you anyway, and it is in your character to be this wonderful, gentle leader of people. But you were such a great creative force and balm to the company. And I've got such fond memories of how lovely you were with everybody. I mean, you are lovely, but...
Well, that's very kind. I think that it's an interesting thing. The more complicated a play is, I think more than often the cast can have a really great time because you need some relief. So you get an opportunity to bond, and everyone was very open and up for telling their stories. So because we were dealing with some very difficult things, I think our kickback was to enjoy ourselves. So we all had a ridiculously silly time because we knew we had to go to some very uncomfortable places in the story,
Yeah. And I think Cominius, his torment at the fall of his star player is really beautifully acted by you in this, and you really feel it. You feel people suffering in lots and lots of different ways.
Yes, I mean, when I had a brief look earlier at what was going on this evening, I saw yourself and Tom talking about the absence of a father figure, and
you're like, wait a minute.
Oh no! I think this is where Cominius comes into play in the story, and you had the wonderful idea of having the young Marcius wandering around, and from my point of view, I was thinking very much of somebody who was thinking at some time they're going to have to pass on the baton for the glory of Rome and for it to continue. And I used to take the images that I would see on the stage of the young Marcius the son, and I'd make him Coriolanus, and it would be my first images of him. and I'd sort of build on that throughout. And so whenever I was working with Tom, I'd always have this image of a child in the background.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the philosopher, but I think that the Cominius understands the nature of Marcius, that he's quite a fiery personality, but he thinks and believes that he's going to be able to shape him. And I think there's an opportunity there to shape him. Many of his mentors do. But I can't remember which philosopher said it. It said the human character is very much like a charioteer trying to control two horses pulling in different directions. And I believe that Cominius saw in Coriolanus a potential great leader with rough edges that needs to be guided. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. That charioteer image is fantastic, Peter, and it's exactly that kind of classy analogy that makes you so joyful to rehearse with.
Well, I just think if you're going to be a leader, it takes a great deal, and not all of it's going to be pretty. And I think this is what Shakespeare examines. We ultimately it will come down to. So I think of a quote from Martin Luther King: "We have to live together as brothers or die as fools."
Yeah.
Who we choose as our leaders, we have to answer for that. And I think that for Cominius throughout this story, he sees great potential and is hugely disappointed with the outcome,
Yeah.
and is sort of devastated by it all, really, because what could have gone so well turns out to be a great tragedy, really.
Yeah.
So
I think that's right. I think that's so cute, Pete. And this is so great, this moment. I'm so pleased that you're on Instagram as this moment is playing out for everyone in the same place as me. Just your suffering at being unable to recall him to the father that you've been for him.
yes, I mean, there's later on the stuff when he's turned away by Coriolanus, and he says to him, he reports back and says, he's going to unleash such a terror as was never seen before.
Yeah.
And we cut to a little while earlier, and you're saying that he's elected this man to be the next leader of Rome, and I love the line, "All is his." His actions, he turns terror into sport. So he knows he's dealing with someone who is completely dangerous, and
And his
all
accent
that's going on with the
in itself,
tribunes, who Cominius has dealt with. I have served Rome, I think he's taken knocks, and he sees what's happening to Coriolanus and hopes that he can pull him back from the brink, but it's not to be.
Yeah. Spoiler. Right. I might be. I'm just going to go and see. I think if that's okay, Pete. If I can grab Tom back, and I'm very much hoping we can get a couple of other people on. And
Yes.
the play is hurtling towards its conclusion. It is
Yes.
so wonderful to see you.
Lovely to see you too. Just to share something with everyone. Everyone asked, what's your favourite point in a play? I think it was when you told us in the second half we wouldn't be sitting at the back.
Oh, mate. Oh, I tell you, we should get Elliot Levy back, because there was some shit going on in that lineup. I don't know if you I think what happened is you sort of developed a kind of weird communication by vibration.
Yes,
when you were sitting there very generously watching the scenes that were taking place in front of you,
which was great to watch and to enjoy everyone's work.
Yeah, I can only continue to apologise for keeping.
Don't apologise. It was a strong theatrical image, and that was Rome. We were the observed of all observers. So.
Yeah, great image, shit job.
Yeah. All right.
I'll see you soon. Take care.
See you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, everyone. So I am going to just see if it's possible. Let's see who's there. Do we have Tom Hiddleston still there? We do not. So, Tom, I'm sure you're still watching. Jump back on and I'll try and jump you back in. And in the meantime, is that you there? You've just popped up. No, that is I could get better at this. I could get better at it. I feel like, because what's happening is, no, there you are. I've requested you, but sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So let's see if you're going to pop back on. Do I have any tips how to overcome nerves as a drama student? I'm sorry. Have I ever written a book about theatre? I have not written a book about theatre. I probably should be doing that during lockdown. Tom, there you are.
Hi.
Hello. Brilliant. Someone's just saying, I'm like the David Attenborough trying to find the elusive bird that is you. That is really beautiful, and I feel like people are just probably getting into metaphor.